And now, Giant Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
We're talking Giants every day.
Hey, Glenn.
From a
We're on down south. Cliff is watching the Kings game.
Eric and Glenn
Said he's going to pop us on.
burning bright, fighting for the glory, no matter what it costs us. Breaking down the moments from the wins to the losses.
Armand Stern.
Sports Talk, we're here for the ride. Eric and Glenn with the fan base pride. Talking dreams, will they contend? But we'll back the Giants till the very end. Let's go, Giants! Yes, yes, yes! Eric and Glenn breaking it down, all Giants all the time.
Should be a good show tonight, Eric.
Yeah, it should be. All right, what's up, everybody? How's everybody's Monday night? Welcome to Giant Sports Talk Live. Talking some more Giants baseball, off-season stuff. Shh. People are working. People are working. Buster Posey getting to work. A little quiet before the storm. We'll see. We'll talk about it. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We're in Thanksgiving week. Glenn, I went shopping today. Holy crap, dude. I was like, it's Monday. No one's going to be out there. Shit. Forget about it, man.
Moneybags Romo. What'd you get?
Forget about it.
What'd you get?
I went to Costco, so it was more of the food shopping more than anything else.
Costco.
So.
What'd you get me? A hot dog and a Pepsi.
Oh, I got one of them. I got my hot dog and a Coke.
Oh, they're doing
Hey, what's
Coke
up, George?
now, aren't they? They've transformed. They're Coca-Cola now, aren't they?
Yeah, they did.
I have no need to shop there then.
Yeah, exactly. Cliff, I said this. Cliff Martinez. Oh, go ahead.
Buster's getting to work?
I think so. I think so.
prepare.
We'll talk about it.
I can't
I think
prepare.
so. I think he's getting. Yeah, there you go. He's calling in the construction guys. He's trying to get. He's got the
helmet
foundation.
on. Yep.
He's got the foundation. Now let's see if he's going to start going vertical. Can he go vertical? We'll see. Cliff Martinez again. He's tuning in live from where do they play? Is it the Staples Center where they play? Where the LA Kings play? Do they play hockey in the Staples? So yeah, how about that? Hey, make sure you tell the people to your left or to your right, ahead of you, behind you, if they want to hear some damn good baseball talk, to tune in to Giant Sports Talk Live. And
All are welcome.
And if they're Dodger fans, hey, they're welcome too.
And guess what? He's watching a defensive. You like defense, Eric. It's scoreless, and the puck is just dropped for the third period.
Hey, there you go. Right.
And I've got the Ottawa Senators to win. So let's hope he goes home. You know, he gets a little excited watching the show.
Yeah.
But his spirits are dampened.
All right. And hey, guys, live from San Francisco, the guy has been all over the place watching concerts, and he's a man about town in San Francisco, Glenn.
And now, a special guest appearance, Lou Marsden, on tonight's edition of Giant Sports Talk Live.
Look, there he is. Here. What's up, Lou?
Hello, guys. How are you? Hey, sorry, man. The other night, after Saskatchewan won the Grey Cup, my computer just went down. Problems. I left you guys hanging. I owe you one.
Well, you won't have any problem.
And
you won't have any problem paying the internet bill, will you? You scored.
Taken care of.
Hey, at least you don't have to go running down the block chasing your Xfinity guy.
Every time I see an Xfinity truck, I take a picture. And Bernice is like, "What do you take pictures of the trucks for?" I say, Eric's got to be around here somewhere, poking out from behind the truck."
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Absolutely, Costco hot dogs are awesome. Hey, look at that. Even Rosemont. Hey, he's a Stanford alum, by the way, getting ready to start his graduate work.
Big win over Cal. Cost the Cal coach's job. I don't know.
What is it about San Francisco this year, guys? I was thinking that when I saw that news break the other day. It was just, what was it, yesterday morning or the night before? Yeah. What is it about Bay Area teams? We're hiring, the Valkyries signed their coach. The Giants signed their coach. Cal's getting a new coach if they haven't already. What is it about new, fresh faces in the managerial positions around here?
The 49ers would only get a new coach. They're so soft. They're frauds this year. They're frauds.
Yep,
they were lucky to win the night. They got 2 huge calls defensively, and I'm sick and tired of all these people. It's the same. It's the same people that think the Giants don't need to do anything. Same Niner fans thinking we're good. We're not. We're frauds. Come on, guys. It's ridiculous.
He's super salty.
I've watched it. Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, look around. Stanford losing record. Cal going to a bowl game, fired their coach. The other news I didn't like, and I don't mean to be negative, but now in San Jose, where they used to have the racetrack, they're going to open up another women's and men's soccer team. That means we're going to have 5 women's soccer teams in the Bay Area. Soccer is not that big, and to have 5 women's teams, it's got disaster written all over it. I mean, it's out of control.
Wow. Look at this. We got a couple of people chiming in. MV, Giants got to make a huge trade with Dean and Weimer. With Weimer now here, possibly Valdez. All right, we'll see. We'll see, MV. Hey,
we'll see.
Willie or Lou.
Sorry, didn't mean to open up like that. Sorry, guys.
No, wait a second, Eric. We haven't had Lou on for a while, so let's just jump right in. Get into the pot here, the witch's brew. Lou, what did you think of the Weimer deal? I smelled a little Farhan coming from that concoction.
I am so sick of us picking up crumbs. I thought Farhan was gone. We weren't going to be doing these crumbs anymore. We're not. Again, we pick up these guys that nobody else wants. Nobody. But, of course, we pick them up. It's ridiculous. That trade was completely useless. I can tell you right now, and I'm excited about tonight's show because what is Buster going to do? I'm going to give you a little hint. It's not going to be here in the States.
Oh,
he's going to be going outside of the States trying to make a deal. And I will think there might be 2 deals, but that's of stuff we need. We're going to go sort of El Cheapo, and we're going to keep what we have. And, I just think that the big problem, and Buster, I think, has a tougher job this year than last year because he got stuck with 4 fat contracts with fans that think we're going to be better another year with Buster. Remember, Buster can only do so much. We got to start blaming the players. No, not Canada. I wish it was Canada. No, we're going far east. That's sort of, I think, where we're going. But I think it's one of those things where, Buster's job is going to be tougher because he actually opened his mouth and says, guys, the fans deserve a better product. But I'm just telling you, especially with all the rumors out there, all the deep pockets, people keep thinking, for some reason, our fans are in fantasy land. They think all of a sudden, because Buster's in charge, things are going to happen. It's all about the money. The Giants are going to be very questionable on some of their moves, and then they're going to hope for the best. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's going to be, it'll be interesting. And I root Buster the best. Hey, I go to the games, I mean, if I invite you guys, I want you guys to say, yes, Lou, I'll sit in your seats. Not, hey, I'm pretty busy. Glenn, I know going 2 blocks away from your house is difficult. Eric, I know you're driving an hour and a half. Yeah. You'd rather see the Valkyries than the Giants.
There you go.
So, it's one of those things. And the other thing too, is the one thing about our lineup, forget about Eldridge because he's still a huge double question mark. He's like the Riddler. We're not sure what we're going to get, but we have 4 other guys that are a year older. And you know what? When you're a year older in baseball, when you strike it out 120 times, now it's going to be 130, maybe 140. It's good to be back on the show. I've had a couple weeks off, so I wanted to at least throw a few through quarters since I had a good time in Vegas and I won instead of pennies in the fountain.
Well, that big win,
guys.
I told Eric, you picked Saskatchewan 6 months ago, and they come through for you for a nice
plus. I got them plus 6-1, so that helped. And then I also had them to win the West, so really it was sort of a free play. But sometimes you got to go for it. And by the way, in case you guys didn't see it, the Grey Cup, an incredible game. Am I right, Glenn? It came down literally to a fumble defense. And the thing about
the 1 yard line, Eric.
1 yard line, line. And the CFL, the thing about it's Eric, you probably don't watch the games. It's only 3 downs, not 4. So you really got to be wise on what's going on and a bigger field. And, the Grey Cup is one of those things. It's just super, super, super cool to watch. So, and plus,
I watch all season. I love CFL ball. I haven't watched an NFL game this season.
And by the way, an incredible halftime act. I've never seen this young kid before. He was great. Unlike our Super Bowl, where we're going to have a guy that's not even going to sing in English. So,
was he a young guy? One of the Backstreet Boys coming in for Lou. I thought, that's the rumor.
Remember how great that was? What was that? Was that the second round of the Major League playoffs in LA? They were in the auditorium or something.
Toronto.
Oh, it's Toronto they were singing?
Yeah, in the outfield, they had them all set up on the stage. Yeah. But, Lou, I said to Eric in the pregame before we went to air, we took 2 or 3 minutes to get on the air, and we were waiting for you and excited. But I said, you don't want these guys, you call it the crumbs. These are the guys you should be adding at the tail end. All right, just kind of fill in the lineup.
They're not.
And we're
getting
them on the top end. We're getting them on the top end, Lou. Yeah. What are we doing here? And the other thing is, they're all the talk is Japanese pitching. Well, don't put your eggs in one basket when there's like 15 or 16 other teams looking. What makes us the front runner all of a sudden to get the one prize? I haven't seen a prize. Now,
I agree, the Japanese pitcher, but I think we're going to go for the guy from the KBO.
Ponce.
And I think, Ponce. And I think the problem is, everybody talked about how great Lee is. Everyone's been disappointed in Lee, because he came in with such high standards. Now you tell me this guy has the guy I think is 17-1 with a great ERA, but that's against KBO pitchers. My God, what is going to happen when he comes here? I mean, it's like facing guys like Lee and then probably not as good as Lee. So I just have question marks. And again, that to me, that's all about the money, being cheap and hoping. And
I'll tell you what's going on here. Let's break this down just a little bit. Break it down a little bit. So these 2 guys they got, they're nobodies, right? Well, look, I'm talking about his talent, not as people. Weimer and Dean, right? What are they good at? They're good with the glove and they can run. Okay, so that's kind of where they're going to fit. Do I think they're going to be the stalwarts out there in the outfield? No. Weimer may start off in Sacramento as depth because you need that, right? You're going to need guys that are going to come in and because there's going to be injuries. And they're going to have to come in and fill those spots. And you know what? Maybe this is an indictment on McCray, on maybe even Gilbert, Luciano, Matos. Because if you're going to go out there and go outside the organization to get these depth pieces, look, they got right now, they got 10 guys on the 40-man who are outfielders. And I don't think they're all going to
be possible trade.
It could be, right? Matos, Luciano, Encarnacion. I've mentioned those 3 guys.
And I also think, Eric, with the 2027 season, really not knowing, I think this whole year is going to be very different. All free agents aren't going to be 3-5 years, because there's probably not, at least not a half a season 2027. So people are going to be different. I think there's going to be a lot of 1-year contracts with a club option for a second, because they're not sure if that's going to be 2027 or 2028. So, I talk about that, but I think that's a very, very big thing. And, the other thing too, you always need depth. I just don't think we need depth in the outfield. I think we need depth in the pitching. So again, the Giants are trying something different. It's cheap. It doesn't cost them really anything. So we'll see, but it really depends. I won't be upset if they do another move. If they give me another big pitcher and they spend that money there, then it's okay. But it's got to be part of the puzzle. It's sort of like, how it is where when you're a kid and you're doing the puzzle and you saw 1,000 pieces and you're down to the final 2 and you can't find them because they're under the table or under the puzzle itself, it's not complete. You're frustrated. So I just wanted to make sure of that.
And how about this? And then here's another thing. Giants non-tender 2 guys that I thought they were going to tender, right? Lucchesi, gone. Kisner, your backup catcher, gone. So is Jesus Rodriguez going to be the backup catcher for the Giants? I don't know. But you know what it did, Lou? It freed up some money because the Giants, who are at about $186 million, right, for the year, now they're at $179. So they're scrimping and they're saving where they can. Why? That must mean they're going to go out there and do something. That's my guess, even though it's pennies. But we got to think about where the Giants are. Are the Giants going to spin like the Dodgers? No, they're not. They're not going to spin like the Dodgers. So there's a finite amount of money that the Giants can spend. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. But you gotta kind of put your mindset where the Giants are, because otherwise you're going to be setting yourself up for failure, right? Even though I got freaking Scooble. Look, I get it. It's having fun, and it would be awesome to have both Tucker and Scooble.
Hey, Eric, I don't mean to invade. I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring one thing you brought up the other night is everybody's got to take a step back because of what the Atlanta Braves went through last year. I know they're taking giant steps, and Eric, you were really good the other night about saying, hey, they got their manager, they got their coaches, they're doing this, they're trying to make trades. We're not the Atlanta Braves, so let's not compare us to the Atlanta Braves. Okay, the Atlanta Braves had just a difficult time last year. They went through one of the most torrential seasons ever. They're taking huge steps because they have to. So I think sometimes what we do, just as fans, we see, oh my God, the Atlanta Braves are doing this, or the Mets are doing this. Why aren't we? Just everyone relax. The season hasn't even started yet. Okay,
don't even have a team yet.
4 months away. We are working on our coaches. And I think what you got to remember, in 2 weeks is the big time. Buster, a year under his belt, is going to go to the meetings. Now, if nothing happens and the meetings are done, then I'll worry. But right now, it's still sort of like spring training. The coaches and pitchers have arrived and catchers. We're getting ready for the action, but we're still a couple of weeks away. But stop comparing us to other teams, because there's other teams. Would we have made that trade? The big trade with the Mets or no.
I was just going to go there. That was a big trade.
Yeah, it was a big trade, but it didn't help us because of what we've done.
And you know what? But you know what it did do? And the reason why I did bring it up, I brought it up on one of our little posts, because the Mets is a team that we're chasing to a certain extent. If they don't win their division, we're competing with the Mets for a wild card.
Correct.
And what did they do? They traded away Nimmo. I'm surprised he gave up his no trade clause. I was shocked. And they solidified the infield defense by getting Marcus Semien. I found that interesting. I was like, wow, okay, now guess what? Now the Mets have a hole in left field. Who is going to play left field for the Mets? And look, and the Giants, what did the Giants need to do? They need to fill a hole in right field. So are they going to be competing with the same type of players? I don't know. I got a feeling.
Did we have a player that we could have gave up to get Nimmo? Yeah. Who we given up? That's the other thing. You got to have a good player to get another player that might help you out. So I just wanted to bring that up because, a lot of times people, being fans, we react on what other teams do, not what the Giants are doing.
Oh, of course. Exactly. You got to but the thing is, the Giants need to take care of business because you got to look at what your competition is doing. So in that sense, you got to, hey, what are the Giants going to do? And let's talk about this. Now, let's bring this up right off the bat. This one's going to come out of left field, guys. Texas Rangers looks like they're selling. Is there anybody on the Texas Rangers that you would like to have on the San Francisco Giants? I got one guy that I would like to have. And it's not Corey Seager. Corey Seager ain't going nowhere. You see his contract? They got to pay him $31 or $32 million for the next 5 years. Yeah. No freaking way am I even touching Corey Seager. First off, the guy it's hard for him to stay on the field. And that contract is just, it's an abomination. It just is. I see Adolis Garcia. I don't want Adolis Garcia. Come on, we're talking about improving our defense or outfield defense. He's not exactly a glove, and his bat has been horrendous. Look, a change of scenery might be fine, but I don't want Adolis. How about this? How would you guys feel? And Glenn, I want to ask you this one. He's older, but the guy can still freaking throw a ball, and you only have him for 2 years. Jacob deGrom, 38 years old. But last year he had a 2.9 ERA, and the guy is, and if you think about it, he's not, even though he's 38, his arm isn't. He had Tommy John. He missed a lot of time, so he doesn't have a lot of bullets on that arm, so to speak. But how would you feel about taking on Jacob deGrom? 2 years again. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the Giants don't want a long-term contract. He fits that. They don't want a 9-figure contract. He fits that. And the guy can freaking absolutely throw a ball. What would you think about that, Glenn? Jacob deGrom to the Giants.
I like that last, it was the last comment of the chat. DeGrom is a mystery, Eric. Again, we come on. It seems like in the offseason, all I talk about with you over and over, broken down record players, skipping. The same thing. Talking about, Lou came up with a good word for it, crumbs. Now, if we're going to spend, and we're going to, what did I tell you the other day in the show? And you agreed with me on Friday night. I said, when you've got these big contracts, the big three, I'll call them, they've got a 4 to 5 year window, Eric. Why are we going to, I can hear it in your voice. Get him for a couple of years. Yeah. I don't like that. I'm like, go get your guy. Spend the money and go get your guy. Play to win. Not, get DeGrom, see what happens.
He's pretty good, though.
Yeah, well, I'm not confident in, after what I saw, how many people in last year, well, this guy's a Hall of Famer. We bring in a 42-year-old pitcher. Everybody, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. Eric, he didn't get the job done. I liked some of his outings, but at the end of the year, take a look at how many games we won with him in the starting position.
True.
It didn't work out. Why are we, I don't want to talk about the crumbs. I want to talk about some serious
here we go.
Players. And I don't think that's a serious move.
I think it is. Well, I'll tell you why. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say before I lose track, we've got Armand in there. I was curious. If you don't know, maybe Armand's our guy to go to, but that Nimmo trade, what were the contracts? What's the money there? Did the Mets free up any money as well?
I think the Mets sent some money with, they sent $5 million with Nimmo because money doesn't matter for the Mets. They could care less. So, I mean, the contracts are somewhat similar, if I'm not mistaken, but they improved their defense with Simeon. That's the thing. And now you got Lindor and Simeon in your infield, your middle infield. That's pretty damn good.
Are you content bringing in a DeGrom, Eric? Now, I just think
I would be okay because
time to get serious. I got the hard helmet on today. I'm ready to do business, Eric. I'm ready to construct the team.
I'll tell you why.
Build it.
Because the problem is we got to think like the Giants. You have to.
I'm tired of
You have to. I know. Look, I'm the first one to say go out there and trade for Scooble if you can, or sign Ranger Suarez, or even Framber. Yeah, but you're going to have to pick and choose because the Giants they don't have one hole to fill. They got numerous holes to fill. So if you're able, because the thing is if you go out and trade for DeGrom, and again, he has a no trade as well, but his former manager is now a senior advisor to Buster Posey and Bruce Bochy. So that could help. There could be some help there. Now, what would you have to give up? You don't have to give up much. Because if you take on,
I don't like that tone of voice, Eric. You don't have to give up much.
No. Because it's a trade. It's a trade.
If you're not giving up much, what does that mean you're getting in return?
No, because you're taking on the money. Because this is right. When you do a trade, there's different things involved here. There's prospects and there's money. And where can the Giants, if they don't want to lose prospects, well, then eat the damn money. Right?
Well, let's ask Lou. If you bring in DeGrom to the San Francisco Giants for the 26th season, Eric, does that make us a better team? I say not after the Verlander project. I think it's time to get serious.
No, you're muted.
The one thing about DeGrom is he's only has 50 starts in 4 years. Okay, so I don't know what DeGrom you're getting, but here's the thing: if maybe Texas is willing to eat half of his contract, because I think he might have 2 years left, but I think it's close to like $50 million. 2 years, 50-something million.
It's like 38. It's a lot of money. 38 million, something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So if they're willing to take half, the one thing about DeGrom is if he's 90%, he's better than 75% of the pitchers. When he's on, he's unhittable.
100%.
The question is, what are you going to get him? So when these guys say it's a mystery, that's the big thing. And I think money-wise. Now, compared to last year with Verlander on a scale 1 to 10 was about a 7. DeGrom's probably about an 8.5, a 9. He is better. I think he would make our lineup, especially as a third pitcher. Because remember, in Texas, he's the ace. With us, he'd be a number 3 pitcher, maybe number 2.
Yep.
And if we can get 75%, I think it's a great move, but it all depends on how much money you're going to get. The other thing, too, is say we get him and he's our number 3. Who's going to be our 4 and 5? Are we going to depend on guys that couldn't make it last year? Are we going to be getting Ada? You know, I think, again, it goes to the puzzle effect. If that's the only move they do, then it's a horrible move. If they can give us something like, you know, I keep seeing guys in the chat. First of all, Bailey for Quan will never happen. We'll have to give up another piece. Quan is a stud, okay? Everyone wants Quan. Bailey's not a stud. Bailey's great defensively. I don't give a shit if he's a Golden Glove. All defense. We have too many guys that are great defensively that aren't great offensively, okay? So we got to get this out of the picture. So I think it really depends now. If we get DeGrom and maybe he's the last piece of the trade market before we go to the thing, then I think it's a great trade. But that can't be one of our first moves. You know, okay. I mean, again, Eric, you bring up a lot of this. Hey, this could be good. This one I do like just because I remember how unbelievable DeGrom was. He was unhittable. The question is, what type of DeGrom are we going to get?
And that's fair. And look, and here's the thing. And there's different directions that the Giants could go in. Look, I'm just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks because I don't know what the Giants are going to do. And look, let me preface this real quick. Buster Posey, if you guys read the description, Buster Posey has a flair for the dramatic. He went out there, he got Willy Adames. Was there any word that the Giants were going to get Willy Adames? None. 0. He went out there and he traded for Devers. Did anyone talk about Giants possibly getting Devers? Nobody. So he does things on the down low and all of a sudden, but he gets his guy, so to speak. So I got a feeling he's going to make a move. Now, what that move is going to be, it's anybody's guess. Now, going to your point, Lou, talking about the puzzle pieces. If you really want to put a puzzle pieces together here and have more to be able to spend, the best option, and again, it's going to cost you prospects, is if you trade. If you trade, okay, for example, say you trade for a Joe Ryan, okay? He's cheap. He's like 6, and he's not cheap because he's bad. He's cheap because he's still in arbitration, but you're going to have to give up prospects. But guess what? That frees up more free agent money to get a second starting pitcher. It frees up more money to go get an outfielder. It frees up more money to get your closer. Maybe you do 2 trades. And here's another thing. Maybe you trade for Pablo Lopez, even though his contract's a little bit elevated. It's $21 million, but that's still a pretty good value for what Pablo brings. And then you could trade for a freaking Steven Kwan. I mean, there's different avenues that can be done, but how will the Giants? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. And I know a lot of people, we talked about it in the last show, Glenn, about Tatsuya Amai, right? And yes, I see people talking about it all over Twitter. And I get he's popular. He's saying the right things. He wants to beat the Dodgers, right? And I get it. But everybody wants to beat the Dodgers. Everybody wants to beat the Dodgers. They're 2-time World Series champions in a row. So here's the problem. If you do sign someone like Amai, you're talking $150 million. And then where does that leave the rest of the money? Unless the Giants decide to just blow past the cap, I mean, that's a lot of money for Amai. And let's talk about this. Singa, Amai, or Imanaga. Who's the other one? Yamamoto had issue. Shohei Ohtani, let's not forget, he's had 2 Tommy Johns since he's been here in the major leagues. And the reason why people don't talk about it so much is because he's a 2-way player, so he kills the ball. But his pitching, right? He's suffered injuries. Yamamoto had injuries. Roki Sasaki had injuries. Singa has had injuries. Imanaga has had injuries. It's not instant success. And are you willing to take a gamble on someone like Amai, right? who's going to cost you a shit ton. That's all I'm saying. He's going to cost you a shit ton of money. And I'm not opposed to the player because, look, he could be something. I just don't know if I want to take that jump. If he was like $90 million somewhere around there, okay, that seems a little bit more reasonable.
Hey, Eric and Glenn, I'm sorry I've been out the last week, but I have a question for each of you, and you can answer. Buster, we basically have two priorities: the outfield that we definitely need help on, and starting pitching. Where do you go first? And if you had enough money, who would be your player that you could get of the free agents, and then you could do a trade? So, like, Glenn, you've been sort of quiet. Why don't you tell me what are the Giants' priority? Is it the pitching or is it the outfield? And if you had enough money and you could do anything, who would be your first choice to go after? And then Eric.
Oh, I wanted some time to think about it.
Okay,
I was asking Eric.
Hey,
I'll go. I just you take it, Eric. But I want to just say I'll think about that. But we're talking outfield and pitching, and I'm talking outfield. Pitching,
well, what do you think the number one priority is?
The number one priority.
There are too many. I looked the other day on the MLB Network. They fired up next year's. I mean, as it sits now, next year's starting lineup. Oh my God! It looked like a Packers promo, football promo. It was like Swiss cheese. This team has got a lot of work to do. There's just a lot of work to do. So to say it's pitching and the outfield, we still need a lot of other parts. That's why I did not like, Weimer. We got Weimer. Well, whoop. Lottie freaking da. Eric, what do you think? Pitching or outfield or something in between?
I would go, and my guy, and I've said this from the beginning, Ranger Suarez. I would pay to get Ranger Suarez. I think he could be a solid 2. And then that's where he may fit in, to be honest with you. I kind of like him more than Ray. Now here, I don't want to bash on Ray too much because last year, right? How many innings did he pitch last year? 150. I think he got over 150. But the year prior, he only pitched 30 innings. So he hit some fatigue at the end of last year. That's why he wasn't as sharp. But man, the first half, he was spot on. So I would like to see. I got a feeling that Ray is going to have a better year. Again, he's built up that much more. But if you have a Webb and Ray and Ranger Suarez as your 1, 2, and 3, I'm feeling pretty damn good. Because let's talk about this. Glenn, you talked about the lineup. The same lineup did some damage there for about a month, right? That same lineup. The problem is the pitching started fading away. And it was the pitching that led the Giants to 81 and 81, right? It wasn't the hitting. Don't get me wrong. I mean, guys still out there and hit the ball, but the pitching was just incredible. I mean, we were in the top 3, top 5 halfway through the season, and it started falling apart. So if you bolster that rotation, and granted, all things being equal, no one hits injuries. I mean, injuries are always a factor, but again, all things being equal, the Giants could make some headway. You go land one of those good starters, and I think you're doing something. So that's where I'm at. Starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez.
I agree. We got to come up with a guy who's somewhat of an ace, and then drop him in where you got to. Maybe a number 2. Robbie Ray, he averaged a strikeout an inning. I think we can do a little better than that. Actually, we should be able to. I think our rotation is adequate at best. But then you look at the outfield. I mean.
Oh, you're right. The outfield has to be addressed.
We're talking to manager already who's singing the praises. Oh my God, I'm hearing Christmas carols, and all he's talking and singing about is Drew Gilbert. I'd rather the old Christmas carols, dude. I don't know what who knows between this new manager. There's a lot of unknowns, really, between the lineup and the manager. Just a lot of unknowns, and this goes back to last year again. Like Lou used the term a few minutes ago as well. My favorite term. Could be. Might be. We'll see. I want to go into the season, Eric.
I hear you.
I'm positive. Eric, we could be good if we don't go on another 15-game losing skid and lose to the Marlins and the Sox and Pirates. I want to be competitive. And with the lineup we've got right now, we're not competitive. I don't think we're competitive with the pitching staff. That outfield, that's weak. Terrible defensive left fielder. Jung Hoo has had his moments, but And then you're talking about Drew Gilbert is a right fielder. If he's our right fielder opening day next year, Eric, I've got serious concerns. I'll be standing out there. It'll be a short show outside Oracle Park on opening day next year.
Okay, Lou, what say you? What do you think is the priority in the guy?
If they could make me happy, I'd like to get a big bat. I think Devers they pitch around. If you can get a right-hand bat, like a real DH, not a guy from the Mexican League, that would make our lineup better, and we could be okay with the strikeouts. I think too many times, when we got Devers, we were excited because we hadn't landed anybody in about 5-6 years. But we looked at him like somebody almost like a Bonds. Some guy, every time up, he was going to hit it out. And there was a lot of pressure on him, too. He went from a different ballpark where literally he just had to flick his wrist and it was a double off the green monster.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on the other show, I always listened to Eric. He moved to a new area where not many people spoke his language. So you had to give him a couple of 6 weeks freedom. But I think you need a bat. I think the Giants' biggest problem, especially probably over the last 10 years, is we've never really had a DH. A DH to me is a guy that's going to hit the shit out of the ball. When he comes up, he's at least going to give you a sacrifice fly. And when he just misses it, it's a ball that goes to the warning track. Or he could be Oracle parked, as they would say. And then if you could just put him in 4, maybe 3 or 4, and maybe pitch him after Devers, you have a lefty-righty combo. You could then move guys like Chapman down, who shouldn't be batting 4th. He's more like a 6-hitter or 7-hitter. I think, if we can do something like that, that's where I would start. Because I think pitching's easier to find than a big bat. I think if you look at the free agents this year, it's not all about, these pitchers. It's all about these pitchers. No, it's about guys that can hit the ball. You look at Philly, their big free agent, everybody wants. Well, of course, he leads off. The guy hits 50 homers, but you got to get a guy that can be constant, 30, 35 homers. We still haven't had a guy that's had 100 RBIs. I can't remember the last guy that actually had 100 RBIs. We got thrilled last year when Adames hit 30 homers. We got excited from a guy that hit 30 homers and batted 205. We got to start thinking opposite. I mean, the biggest problem with the Giants, we're excited when we're a game over 500 because we haven't done it. We're going to be excited when we got that hasn't done 100 RBIs. We need to go off teams that were successful last year. Everyone copies. When you think of Toronto, they were a machine. 1 through 9. They were the kind of guys that would have 4 runs on 6 hits and maybe no errors for the game. And that's why they were so good where they were. Look at Milwaukee. When their big guy didn't perform, that's when they went down. But they were a machine. They had, they averaged 11 hits a game. We were lucky enough to score 4 hits a game. We got to start thinking offense. The Giants are going nowhere where we have a Gold Glove catcher, but he bats 212. A Gold Glove third baseman. The guy strikes out 200 times, bats 235. Enough of that. We need guys that are going to be able to hit 35 homers and that can actually be a difference maker when you pitch to him. A guy that can carry somebody. I think the thing about the Giants the first 6 weeks of the season, why we got excited, is they did everything right? They ran the bases. They hit with runners scoring position. They took walks. They actually stole bases. But about the second or third month, that went away from the lineup, and we had nobody that could really carry the team, and that's really what we need. We got excited about Devers, and it was great, but he almost had, like I said, he almost had to be like the Hulk at times. He had to do more than he was capable of. He was learning. The other thing, too, is nobody really talked about, he was learning the National League. It's a big difference when you grow up, go through a system, and you're in the American League. Then you come over to the National League. It's different. I know you have the same umpires, but the pitchers are different. You don't have time to do it. So that's why I'm expecting Devers to come back this year and even have a better year, hopefully cut down the strikeouts, but he needs help. If you remember, Chapman has had one good year, offensive year. And as Dan said, it was the year where the ball was juiced. I mean, you look through his stats, he had 1 year. Adames, again, he had 1 year. When you looked at it, if you went to his stats 2 years ago, he had the same batting average and he had like 75 RBIs. He just happened to have that year, contract year, where he had an incredible year, and you got him. But if you take that away, we're getting what he got. So I just think maybe one more bat. That's where I would begin, you know. And the other thing, I think it was Eric or Glenn brought up a thing about the trade that just happened. They had things they could give away, $5 million, prospects. Who are we going to give up if you take Eldridge out? A guy in AA, single A? Our guy, you know, it's tough when we don't have a farm system. And that's one of the things that we talk about all year. The Giants are lacking a farm system. You're lacking a farm system. Well, when you try to go the offseason, you try to make trades and you don't have a farm system, that really holds you back where all these other teams do.
Correct. There is some.
I got to agree with Lou because I agree with Lou because if you look at the Toronto Blue Jays last year, and I started taking an approach to watching their games around July into August, I went, wow, look at this team. And they were up there with the Yankees. They were up to win, and they did win the division. They got that home field, which was huge in the postseason against the Yankees. But it's all mathematics. We are an inconsistent team. And Lou, you're talking about guys who are batting 205 and 220. But I looked at that Blue Jay roster. Why are they competitive? Because guys are batting 260, 265, 280, 300, 240, 275. And our guys are batting 205. How long did it take a couple of those guys to get above 200 last year? We were almost in August before the guys could hit 200. I mean, we are arguably one of the most inconsistent lineups when it comes to batting that there is in Major League Baseball. How many times do we have the bases loaded last year, Eric? We come on the show.
Yeah, I know.
Left the bases loaded. Nobody out. Couldn't score a run. Yep. Why? Because they don't put the bat in the ball. They can't hit.
I'll tell you what. Lou wants a bat. Glenn.
Oh, here we go.
Fire up that damn excavator. Fire up the excavator. Come on, man.
Hey.
There we go.
It never gets old, Eric.
If you want that kind of talent, you got to spend money.
Hey, there you go. And you don't want to give up talent, right? You don't want to give up prospects? Well, then give up money. There you go, right? Just offer him the biggest contract. Don't be afraid. If that's the need, then go fill that need. And
Lou's talking about a big bat. Eric, you got Tucker on the mind. What for me? I have always said, this goes back to when he was a hell of a lot cheaper. The closest that we could get to Bonds, the return of Bonds, popping those balls, I think they should get Schwarber. Schwarber's the guy. But
I don't know.
Schwarber, Tucker, all these guys. And I'm the first to say I've always said the players are overpaid, Eric. But if you want to compete and you've got your 3 key pieces right now in the roster, got to spend the money if you're going to compete.
You have to spend the money. No, you do.
Well, Glenn, you bring up a great point. You're signing for a guy that could lead off or bat third, and he could fill any position. He would be a great bat and a leadoff hitter.
130 RBIs. You don't win. That's another thing.
Imagine him with that short porch.
Do you know how many RBIs?
Yeah, I know.
I often take a look with Eric here on the show at guys like Adames, who hits 30 home runs. Why does a guy who hits 30 home runs only get 70 RBIs?
Because no one's on ahead of him. That's the problem.
You don't win unless you score runs. The object of baseball is to get more runs than the other teams.
Problem is, the guy's got to get on ahead of him. If he hits a home run and no one's on base, well, then
we ain't the Toronto Blue Jays, though. We can't get on base. We don't get when we get on base. Then we got nobody behind who can get it because we're inconsistent.
So how about this? How about you drop a bunch of money for Tucker and you trade for freaking Kwan? There you go, right? So then you got Kwan, Lee, and Tucker. Lefty. Along with Devers. That's a lot of lefties.
We get Schwarber and Devers. That's a great mix and match. Great.
Dude, and just so you know, I looked at Tucker's splits. His splits against lefties isn't bad. He's got a pretty decent average against lefties, so it's not like he's a total zero. Stephen Kwan it's right. Come on, Stephen Kwan. He gets hits. That's what he does. And guess what? He gets on base and he can run. So
a guy like Jung-Hoo Lee, I thought Jung-Hoo Lee should have been giving you a lot more production.
Why not? If money is not the issue, well, then why not? There you go. Now the thing is,
we're still going to get closer and another starting pitcher. Is money still an issue with this franchise, though? I think we're going to find out.
And that's the real right. And that's the reality. The reality is the Giants aren't going to do that. They're pinching pennies. So they're going to look, and that's the thing. You got to get banged for your buck, so to speak. That's why I don't know if Amai is going to be the right answer, not because of his talent, right? But because of how much money he's going to garner. He's got Scott Boras as a freaking agent, right? And then of course you got him out there saying, I want to go against the Dodgers, right? He could say that. Look, if the Dodgers were in the running for a starting pitcher, do you think he would have said that? If the Dodgers, let's not get it sideways here. If the Dodgers had needed a starting pitcher, do you think Amai would have gone out there and said, I want to face against the Dodgers? Hell no. He knows that the Dodgers don't need another starting pitcher. They don't. So he could go out there and say it. So then it bumps up his want for other teams that would want him. Come on, man.
Sounds like he's got Padres written all over him, because I could have sworn.
Well, I don't know.
Sasaki didn't Sasaki go to the Padres before he signed with the Dodgers and went to the pitcher's mound and threw in a Padres jersey, if I remember, back in March before he signed. So I don't know. I've heard that line before. Usually that means I want to be a Padre, not a Giant. But I think you guys are missing one point. But I love Glenn thinking outside the box there. Is you're not going to have to sign these guys for 10 years. I think you can get Tucker maybe 5 years and Glenn's guy maybe 4 years. It's not going to, because you got to remember, we already have guys 6-7 years. It's not going to be a contract like that, especially with the lockout. You could probably get somebody 4 years, offer them, $160 million. For 4 years or 150. I think I like that because free agency with these, because they're older. Judge was 10 years. Ohtani 10 years because of their age. These guys have been around. I think you maybe get them for 4, maybe 5 years at the most. I would do it, because here's your opportunity to get a great bat for only 4 years, not 8 years or 10 years. Why not?
You know what I say? But the problem is, and this is where the Giants have problems, they don't ever set the damn market. They never do. They always wait. Now, Buster, look, we could all say this. Buster doesn't, because what did he do last year in the offseason? He got Adames before it got nuts. He signed, what was it, a day before the winter meetings. So Devers got him before the trade deadline craziness. Got him. So I'm okay. I think Buster Posey's going to go out there and get his guy. Who is it going to be? I don't know. But here's the thing. You know what they knew? If it is going to be a Kyle Tucker, freaking, and I said this over and over and over, you're going to have to do it. You got to take advantage of deferments if the player wants to, because it is up to the player. Because look, what did Shohei Ohtani do? You know why he deferred now? It was an egregious amount of deferment. 99% of his contract has been deferred. But the reason why he wanted deferment is because he didn't want to handcuff the organization to where they couldn't add more pieces. If it's a player who wants to not only get his bag, so to speak, but also still wants to win and not hamper the club, you'll take a deferment. So then you could put money elsewhere to make that team better. So then hey, not only am I getting my money, I'm getting my damn rings. Yep. It makes sense. But again,
you know what?
We're not.
You know what, Eric? You bring up an intriguing point after that Adames deal last year. Do you not agree with the number of holes that we got to fill, and we really got to put on the hard helmet? We got to build for next year. We need some pieces, Eric. Don't kid yourself. Not just one signing. So if you're Buster Posey, you go out and you make the deal like he did last year. You get the deal done with a big guy, whether it's a pitcher or a bat, and then it sets you up for the meetings to make deals to fill in holes.
That's great point, right? If you start off with the guy, then what you're doing is you're showing other free agents or other teams that may want to trade, hey, the Giants are going for it.
You've got a direction then, and at least then you can trade. You know what you have available to trade. You get the guys early.
Yes, if you get the guy, then it's going to say the Giants want to go win. So maybe I'm intrigued to go and play for the San Francisco. There could be something to that. And look, money also helps quite a bit. So
I think the Giants got the money. The success or the failure this offseason. They got to get the deal done early like we did last year, Eric.
Yep.
Yeah. But Eric, you guys remember a great point. It's like the trade deadline. Why do we always wait till the last second? Trade early. Yeah. But I think it's, I think that's a great point. Exactly what you guys said. I personally think, guys, I see in the chat, Tucker 10 years, guys, there is going to be a lockout in 2027. It might get really ugly. Teams are not going to sign anybody long-term because literally if they don't play 2027, you still got to pay them. You're going to be throwing money out the window. With a new bargaining thing, it's going to be different. Everything's changing. It's one of those things. That's why, it's the other thing too, is we're talking about players that everybody else in the major league wants to. Remember, there are certain teams that were maybe one player away of getting to the dance. Someone like Cincinnati, right? When you go the other way, Seattle, they were so close. They felt it. So maybe one other pitcher might bring them over. But you also got to remember the Dodgers aren't happy. Dodgers won. They want to win 3 in a row, right?
Of course,
because only 2 teams have ever done that. They want to do this, and they got the money. So it's not going to be easy. But I think Glenn brings up a great point. We got to have a direction. I think the biggest problem, last year we made a move. I think on today's topic is what is Buster going to do? Buster needs to surprise us and the major leagues again. The Adames thing surprised everyone. The Devers trade came. Good things happen in threes. So let him surprise us again. I don't know what it's going to be, but if he could do it, I think that's perfect opportunity where, first of all, hey, fans, I'm doing whatever it takes. Get ready for this season, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And I think that's a good point. So I wanted to bring that up.
Okay, here we go.
Know what?
Insane has a good point here.
Giants baseball. Nothing like it.
We still don't know if there's a new logo. It's still
we don't know yet. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. Oh my God. Okay. Insane's asking a question. How many moves do you think the Giants make, whether free agents or trades? Lou, how many? Well, no, you're thinking. Glenn, how many? How many moves did the Giants make?
Over and under 3. Mine's 3.
You son
Mine's
of a bitch.
4. I think got to make 4.
I think they make 3. If they make more, hey, that's good. But I'll say 3.
I have a question. Since really Buster's trying to make this his team, could we maybe have one of our big 4 be traded? And we're not even thinking that way?
Ooh, I don't know. And I thought about that too. But they just look. Both,
because maybe they want to get younger with Tony V. I'm reading the chat. Hey,
but here's the thing. Here's the problem. Buster Posey just got these deals done last offseason. It's not like these are contracts that are 3 or 4 years in. He was the one that got the Chapman deals done. He may not have started it, but he got it done. He's the one that went out there and got Willy Adames. He's the one out there and traded for Devers. So they're not going to move off of that. Why would he? That would be gross negligence as far as a Pobo, because that means
Lee wasn't his guy. Lee wasn't his guy.
No, Lee wasn't his guy. Now
I'm just thinking, because if Buster wants to make a big statement,
yeah, and
Abraham, who do you want? Do you want Lee or Drew Tucker out there?
I don't want either of them. None of the above. And one thing that me and Glenn know about, Eric, you were talking about the Ohtani deferring. Remember, it was Farhan's idea. The Giants had the exact same deal with 90% of the money. Farhan had his head so far up his ass, he didn't even know what he was talking about. He didn't even know what deferring the money meant. Don't tell me that we had the exact same thing with Ohtani, same thing with Judge. Farhan, you were horrible at your job. Stop bringing that up. So
guys are in the chat, Eric, talking about our catching and talking about, I saw a post, I don't know who posted it, way up there. It said that the Giants need to get a solid backup catcher. I think they've got their solid backup catcher.
I think they got a catcher.
I want a catcher.
I think Rodriguez may be the guy. I don't know. All right, here we go. Abraham has a great point.
Bailey's not my guy. Bailey's arguably the worst hitter on the team, Eric. He was a no-show.
The worst hitter?
I thought he was the worst.
Gilbert batted 190, but again, he had 100 at-bats. So
if you wanted to send the guy you didn't want coming up with the bases loaded, the game on the line, for me, it was Bailey.
I tell you what, I'm going to tell you something right now. I would don't even question them moving off Bailey. He won his second Gold Glove. They're not going to move off of him. They're not. They're not going to do it.
Again, hey, if we have a team of Gold Glovers and we lose every game 3-1, but that's matter.
Here's the problem, because you've got to fix the outfield before you fix catching. That's just look. Outfield has been a freaking disaster. Your corner outfielders are supposed to be your run producers, your power, and there's no power in right field. There's power in left field, none in center. But here, let's talk about this real quick. Buster has to be proactive. Ibrahim, thank you. For example, if you wait to sign guys and dry up, then you have to trade. Well, then every team will have you bend over a barrel because all the free agent options are over, and that's a fact. But here's the thing:
problem right now with with Matos.
Oh, they're good. I think they're gone.
They're not going to get Matos. We're not going to get anything for them because they back themselves into a corner with them. They can't use them now, and everybody knows that, Eric.
They're going to either trade them or they're going to DFA them because they have no room for them on the roster. They just don't. Right. So Matos and Luciano, they're gone. But let's just see what's going to happen here, because I got a feeling, as far as talking about being proactive, Buster has been proactive. Let's not forget this. We still have Farhan in the back because he didn't. Farhan was not proactive. He waited and waited. And then his plan Bs really didn't work out too well. Buster, I got a feeling, is going to go out there and get something, whether it's a trade or whether it's a signing. I got a feeling that Buster's going to get whoever the hell he wants to get.
Got to make the moves. Got to make the moves.
You got to make the moves.
Bailey actually hit well the last 2 months of the year. You know what? That's why we didn't make the playoffs. The season is 6 months, not 2.
Absolutely.
That'll be okay.
Absolutely.
That's not the way you play the game.
Absolutely. So
you can't have guys like that. I mean, we're a team riddled with that, though. 220 hitters don't get the job done.
That's a fact. That's why you got. And honestly, let me ask you this question: who would you rather have? Let's do this as a poll. Who would you rather have? Would you rather trade for a Stephen Kwan or sign a Kyle Tucker?
You post the poll. That's a good poll, Eric. Everybody jump on that poll. We'll be back after this.
Giant Sports Talk Live, brought to you by Lefties in Burlingame. Visit Lefties for all of your Giants collecting needs. By GenesisGoldIRA.com, Signatures for Soldiers. Duxwell Printing, for all of your printing needs in the Bay Area. Visit Duxwell Printing at 37 Wentworth Place in San Francisco. And by BetterCreditCards.com. For the best credit card choice for you, visit BetterCreditCards.com. Covering the San Francisco Giants nightly online. We are Giant Sports Talk Live. Now, back to Eric and Glenn.
And we thank our sponsors.
There you go. Absolutely. But yeah, there you go. Who would you rather have? What did the Giants need? This could be a better question. But again, it's what you want. What you want, not what may be best for the club. So
I want Schwarber. There you go. Get Schwarber. Get a bat. There's your bat. You want lumber? That guy's a lumber machine.
No,
he's a lumberjack. He built like a lumberjack too.
Problem is, Giants have a lot of that type of bats in their lineup. Now, not the prodigious power that Schwarber has, but the guy strikes out a lot, and he doesn't have a very high average.
Somebody said that in the chat, Eric. The guy 20 to 30%. Who cares? The guy gets 135 RBIs every freaking year.
Yeah, but look, Willy Adames hit 30.
And he can hit for average.
He can't hit for average.
And he let off.
Schwarber.
He let off.
Schwarber.
Lead off hitter.
Schwarber, now he'll take a walk, but his average, it's either a home run or he's going back to the dugout. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, but we got Baileys, Baileys and Lees and Tuckers. So we don't know.
Well,
and then Eric, getting Quan, obviously you got to give up more than Eldridge. So maybe one of the young guys.
I don't know if it's going to take Eldridge, Lou. I got a feeling you probably could get away with it with a pitching prospect. You might have to give up Ramos, but I'm okay with giving up Ramos.
Who, for Quan?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You think Cleveland's going to give him away? That's giving him away.
Here's the problem. This is something that Cleveland always does. They always move off their guys before they hit free agency or get deep into arbitration. They don't want to pay.
Well, I think if
they're a cheap organization.
I think if they do, Lou, do you agree with me? I think Lou has agreed with me on this topic on every show we brought it up. Okay, let's make a deal for Quan. Well, what about every other team who's got quality to trade when we don't? They don't just go to work at the Cleveland offices and say, today we must make a deal with the Giants. They're good guys over there. Nice guys. Buster's a nice guy. They're going to go out. They're going to get the best for the guy they trade. And I don't think the Giants offer up enough unless you're talking about trading the guy. You're talking about all the guys. You're talking about all the guys they're going to, Mato, we might just designate him for assignment. He'll be gone. Why? Because that speaks of no one who wants to trade for a guy like that.
Yeah, you'd have to give up. I'd say you'd have to give up someone like, first of all, Quan is a good, and I'm saying solid player.
He's an all-star.
Him on our team, he'd be probably the best player on our team right away when you really think about it. Defensively, the guy's a stud. He can lead off, and the guy can hit. So you're going to have to probably give up Eldridge and probably someone like a Birdsong or a young pitcher, like a Roop. That's what you're going to have to give up. So
I don't think Eldridge.
Yeah, you'd have to.
No way.
I mean, pull up Quant's stats and tell me.
No, they're decent, but they're not at the level of trading. I wouldn't.
And the reason why, Eric, he doesn't make that much money. I think he's only like $12 million a year.
9 or million. I think it's $9 million a year or something. It's really cheap.
So I'm just going by what you're saying. The guy doesn't make money. You got to give up because, trust me, the Dodgers would give up like 3 prospects. Eldridge is like 2 prospects at once.
Well, yeah, no.
Would you give up?
Got a point there.
If you wanted to get Quan and you wanted him badly, would you give up Webb for Quan?
No.
No? Well, I think. See, then we'll never have a guy like Quan because you got to give up something to get something. And I don't think you're going to line up, hey, we'll give you Luciano and Matos. We might even throw in Ramos and a pitcher. I think they're going to go, yeah, well, let me give the Braves or the Dodgers a call, or maybe the Yankees or Blue Jays. We'll get back to you. I don't think they're going to do a deal with us because they can do better elsewhere.
They might. And look, that's possible.
It would be like when Brad Pitt was in the movie when he went to Cleveland. Hey, how's that guy? Nah, I don't think so. You got to remember, Cleveland's going to give him up if they can improve their team. And the only way to improve them is they got to think of a future star.
Well, let's talk about Cleveland. They like to save money more than they like to have the look. They let Josh Naylor go, right? They let Lindor go. I mean, that Lindor should have been a forever freaking Indian Guardian. I mean, it's crazy. MR says Tucker will sign for $300 for $60 million a year. Ain't happening, dude. Oh, dude, that ain't. No one's paying $60 million a year for 5 years.
You say they're going cheaper, right? Before Quan goes, what does Eldridge make?
Yeah, he makes league minimum $700,000.
Okay, and then what does Birdsong make?
League minimum $700,000.
Okay, so you're giving those two guys up to get Quan, and you're assuming you're going to be able to re-sign him once you become a free agent. So you're not really giving up a lot. You're giving up possible, but that's what Cleveland's saying too. Hey, you know what? We're going to be saving $2 million a year, but we're getting 2 for 1. Sort of like when we made the trade for Devers. Who did we really give up? A guy who, hopefully in a couple of years might make it. A horrible signing with a guy we got from St. Louis that we wanted to get rid of, and then a guy in the minors. That's just sort of how it is. I mean, it's one of those things. And remember, we got Devers because of his contract. It just wasn't. We had to give up 3 players and the contract. So I'm just saying, you get someone like Quan, who's, by the way, would be our best offensive player. You got to give up something. Now, again, I think that's one of the biggest problems with the Giants, because when we made the trade for Devers, people are like, why did we give up Harrison? Why did we give up Harrison was in the minors the whole time. He might have been good major league pitcher maybe in 2 or 3 years. The Giants don't have time to keep thinking, Eldridge in 3 years or Harrison. They got to worry about stuff now.
And you're right.
And what you're going to do.
Glenn, you brought this up in the last show. The timeline is now, because the contracting with Chapman, with your foundation, Chapman, Adames, and Devers, it's win now mode. It's win, right? This is not about 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah,
you're
not
from now.
To start in
now 2, 3, and 4 years. But I'll tell you what, Lou, you're kind of stealing my thunder, because we got to save Eldridge for one specific guy.
Sorry, I might as well leave. I'm kidding.
As I said before, we're most definitely open to trying to add some arms that we think are going to help us on the starting side.
Why not? Woo! Why not?
When people talk about Eldridge's value, I don't think we know his value. That's the problem. We truly don't know his value, because if his value is based on what we saw last year in September, it would be way down here somewhere.
That's not the value.
Everybody, well, I know, and it's based on years and blah, blah, blah. But the fact, I was always against trading him, but I think if this team is in win now mode, maybe the time will come very soon to deal him.
But you can't bring the level down, right? Just to get that would be a mistake. You gotta sell high on this guy, because look, how many people trade from the top 100? If I'm not mistaken, in the last trade deal, I'm not sure. I think DeVries, that was crazy. I can't believe San Diego did that. But you don't usually see that. And look, he's ranked 12th in the MLB pipeline. And again, That holds value. It does. And if you look at the baseball trade values and how they do their calculations, again, takes in, like you said, how much control, how much their contract, and of course their potential. He's like 54 in baseball trade value. It's way up there. I think it's the second highest on the club. So you just can't just give them away for pennies. If you're going to go out there and get something big, okay, I'm all for it. Right, to your point, because it's win now. And if you're going to get somebody that is going to get that person, and look, and for all intents and purposes, the Giants are not one guy away. He would be part of something bigger as well. I mean, it has to be. Otherwise,
and it's not just him. What I remember the text I sent you late last night, Eric? And I think you gave it a thumbs up. I said, if the Giants make any trade, the Giants can't make a trade for the sake of making a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I thought, you can't just be signing guys for the sake of signing guys.
Yeah.
We were already seeing that.
We did. Look, Farhan did that. What did they get us?
Constructive, monumental. If we make deals, got to make us better.
That's it. Yeah. And I think Buster Posey's going to do that, right? Come on. I think Buster Posey's going to do that. You got to get the Farhan stuff, flush it, get rid of it.
Well, Eric, do you think if they made a deal, tomorrow we wake up, Giants made a deal. Do you think there are guys in our starting 9 right now who could be gone?
Yeah.
I think they have to. If you're going to make a trade, guys got to go.
Yeah. Yep. I could see
Lou's touched on it. It's not we don't exactly have the best minor league camp to draw trades from.
Here's my question. You take Eldridge out. Who's the next best prospect of the Giants? Someone like Gilbert?
No.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
Bo Davidson, Carson Wisenhunt. Right? Birdsong might have some value. You know who may have some trade value, honestly? Landon Roop may have some trade value because he showed something. Not really, he's not a prospect, but he's someone on the major league roster. Same thing with Ramos. I think Ramos can also be. I think Ramos, Landon Roop, Birdsong, Wisenhunt, Bo Davidson. I don't know if they would.
Eldridge right now it's all-time high. He's going to probably struggle a little bit next year. They're not going to have a 2027 season. Now you're talking 2028. Is it ever going to be higher than him right now? And we're not even sure how high it's going to be. I'm just saying it's one of those things because we don't have anything else. Sometimes you have to go for it because you got to remember, as Glenn said and what I said with Dan at the end of the season, I was sort of disappointed because his ceiling was so high. And if you remember, he was striking out a lot. To me, I thought I know he was only dipping his toes, but the way the Giants talked about Eldridge, I was disappointed because I expected more. So I'm going to expect a lot more next year. It's sort of like the Buster Juice. We had the Buster Juice. We expected more. He made a few moves and hopefully can improve the team. Eldridge, I mean, again, except for maybe someone like Mays and Bonds when he first got here, his ceiling, he hadn't played one game. And we did shows because he got called up.
Yeah, I know.
So I expect, that's all I'm saying is, and who knows? The Giants' reputation for the last 10 years of their prospects have been horrible.
Hasn't been good.
We go through these names. Oh, this guy's a new guy. I mean, I'll use Harrison. They thought he was almost better than Mad Bum. Mad Bum pitched as a rookie in the World Series. How could some guy even be there? Harrison was a disappointment. His arm angle, he couldn't find the strike zone. Just a lot of excuses. So, again, hey, I want Eldridge to go out there, kick ass, have 30 homers, have 101 RBIs, because then that would solve another problem. I'm talking how we need a bat. If he could actually develop and do that, that's one less problem we have in our starting 9. But I think, we also got to realize this kid is still probably going to take a couple years. I mean, we may not see Eldridge. Who knows? And the other thing, too, and I'm going to give this to Dan as a credit. Giants have been very lucky, except for Casey, with injuries. None of the starters have really had injuries. I can't remember when Webb has had injuries. You know, the guy's pitched 200 innings 3 straight years. Yeah. You know, very lucky. Ray, he came back last year. We weren't sure what we were going to do. Solid. He pitched the whole season. You know, I mean, you know, and then the other thing about Glenn brought up, you know, Gilbert and Wright. My God, he's worse than Yaz was. He's worse than Yaz. Well, he's not that good defensively, Yaz, and we're going to have him starting right. So now we're going to be in the same thing again. And then last but not least, and I'm going to let you guys talk, I do not want the goddamn brothers back on the team. Stop talking, chat, about bringing the Roger brothers back on the Giants. Why would I want them? Tell me, why do I want them? No, forget it. No more.
I agree with Lou in the fact that if you're going to see, we really don't know what the ceiling is for Eldridge. Everyone in baseball anticipates, thinks, and it probably will happen. But let's say next year he comes out and he's in our starting lineup, Eric, and he's batting 220 and he's striking out 43% of the time. And what does that do to his value? His value is at right now. If you're going to deal him, it's now. That's it. If you're dealing him, it's now. If you don't deal him now, then you're going to roll the dice.
Hold on to him.
You roll the dice.
Yep. And how about this? Let's 2 points here. First thing with prospects. Remember the Martian? Who was the Martian? Who was the one they nicknamed the Martian?
Husky.
Who did it from the Yankees? The Martian. Dominguez, right? Right? Isn't that who that was? The Martian?
What are you
the Padre or the Yankees didn't want to move off of him. They didn't want to move off of him. They thought he was going to be the next best thing. How has he shown up as a prospect? Right? Casey Mize was a #1 pick. How did he show up as a prospect? Right? Prospects
think of the Orioles.
Always
think of the Orioles. Think of the Orioles.
And let's talk about Jacob deGrom. We talked about him in the beginning of the show. He was in the 9th round. He was like the 200 and something pick. Just because you get drafted in the first round or even the first pick of the first round does not automatically guarantee that you're going to be anything. It doesn't.
Yeah, but Jason Dominguez was supposed to be this power hitter. And maybe that's why we saw blue and white versus white and blue in the World Series. Yeah. Maybe that's why the Blue Jays made the World Series, because they're not based on power. It's not a team full of power. It's guys who can hit. And I think baseball's getting away from that. The whole, it's sexy to have a team. If you leave a ballpark, Eric, and the guy hits the game-winning home run, everybody's excited. But if you lose the next 6, I want a team that wins 4 or 5 out of those 6 with base hits, knocks. Where's our speed every year? Still looking.
Hey, we got it now. Hey, hold on. We got it. Weimer, Dean, Gilbert, they all got the speed. Come on, we got the speed. Hold on, real quick.
They got to get on base. They got to get on base first.
I know. Hey, they can run really fast. They can run really fast from the batter's box to the dugout. So, I'm sure there's a stat cast how fast a player can go from the batting box to the dugout. Anyways, back to the injury. But the Giants did suffer injuries last year. Eric Miller, their lefty, had elbow issues. Landon Roop had elbow issues. Rodriguez blew out his elbow. He's going to be out the entire year. Freaking one of the biggest injuries that happened to the team towards the end was Dom Smith. Holy shit, dude. That guy was just clutch. And when he went down with that hamstring or quad, whatever it was, forget about it. It was done.
He makes the lineup next year. He you know what? You keep him, and he takes the roster spot of Wilmer Flores.
So now, as far as the pitching, I mean, not necessarily an injury, but Birdsong, he fell off the planet. Roop, again, was an elbow. Remember Verlander, he was on the IL for about a month because of a pec issue or something like that. The Giants they really had to navigate some certain situations depending on where they were in the season to get through the problems with the injuries. So, but every team deals with them. It's not just not the Giants, but look at the Atlanta Braves. They got freaking absolutely freaking devastated with injuries. The Dodgers last year, they were okay. They still won a World Series. And you know how they won it? Because of their damn bullpen. It wasn't because of their starting pitching. I'm talking about in 2024, 2025, a little bit different. Even though their pitching was hurt throughout the majority of the season, They all got healthy at the right time, and lo and behold, there they are, freaking World Series.
And that's the thing, Eric. You just said the $1 million question. They have 4 guys coming back that didn't even pitch on the World Series roster.
Correct.
4. So don't tell me when you think about trades, we all talk about, oh, we can't trade Eldridge. These guys can trade major league starting pitchers that are good for 15 wins. When you have 4 guys like that, you could trade 2 because they're not going to be able to fit in your system, and that's how you get a big bat. That's a big advantage. It's not all about the money. It's the personnel the Dodgers have that, really they drive the bus and they decide. It's huge.
Right.
Eric, it's not too often that I agree and I disagree with a chat comment. And on this one, I'm on both sides. You trade Eldridge, you might as well set the Giants back at least next 5 to 10 years because you'll still have these guys here, blah, 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 blah. The Giants are win. The next 5 years are crucial. They got to bring in guys. The next 5 years is their window to win. So are you going to, you can't keep, it sounds like the chat to me, Eric, is content to have a team that, as long as we make the playoffs. They're going to have to, with the big 3 now, it's time to go for it.
Yeah,
we're not a playoff
team. Don't worry
team.
about 2032, Lou. You can't worry about 2035. They've got Devers, and they got Adames, and they got Chapman, and you're talking about bringing in a pitcher. The time to win is now.
Yeah, it is. And here's another thing, San Jose, you're putting the cart. Oh, bring that back up. You're bringing the cart, or you're setting the cart ahead of the horse. You say you trade Eldridge, you might as well set the Giants back. How do you don't even know? You don't even know what Eldridge is even capable of. Right? It's all just hope.
You trade Eldridge and Scooble comes over. You sign a Scooble. You make a deal, Eric, and bring a Scooble Schemes type player here. Now you're not setting anything back.
No, you're not. You're not setting nothing back if he's involved in one of it. Exactly. We don't know.
Blind comment because you don't know.
We don't. And look, I get it. People are excited about Eldridge. I get it. And it would be great to see him have success. But depending on where you are with the timeline, look, are the Giants trying to do 2 timelines? Because look, the Giants got a couple of young guys that are going to be coming up. As a matter of fact, one of the guys is going to be selected here at the towards the end of December in Luis Hernandez, man. That you want to talk about a kid that's going to have a lot of hype. Holy shit. This kid may be something. And then you got Josuar, which is going to be another guy that they picked last year. Number 1, I should say, number 2 in the international draft. So the Giants got some youth that are going to be coming, but again, that could be 3 years down the road. Hey, maybe sooner. Who knows?
Do you think we could get a Bichette or a Bregman to play second base? I see Bo Bichette turned out his qualifying offer. So
of course, because he wants the big. He wants the big money, and the Blue Jays probably going to pay it. I would think, right? I think the Blue Jays are probably.
But again, this all goes back to the start of the show. I think they got to get serious. You want a guy, you're going to have to pay him. And then the guys can't come in. And I know, look, Lee is what Lee was. Oh, no, we overpaid him. And I keep saying over and over, Eric, that if he had signed with the Dodgers, we'd be bitching and complaining. We didn't pay him enough. See, now he goes to the Dodgers. We're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. If we go cheap, we go cheap. If we sign a guy and he doesn't work out, people are automatically, what is 30 million or 35 million? Well, we overpaid. You can't, it's difficult. You know what?
It is. It's tough, man.
I got to get Buster. Buster's got to wear one of these because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
100%. 100%. Because you're going to either get ridiculed from one side of the fan base or ridiculed from the other. You should have not paid him. Oh, why didn't you pay him? Forget about it, dude. It would be It's one thing to be just a fan and come on here and just talk about it. Could you imagine being in that position, as you said, with Buster Posey, with the hard hat on, trying to freaking put this together, and then you're just getting it from all sides? Oh, dude, goodness gracious. I don't know, man. He looks old too. I don't know if you've seen him. He's
gotten the gray hair now. It's not just his kids. And remember one thing, he's married, so women weaken legs, and they give you the gray hair. Guys, Bo Bichette's going nowhere, okay, for 2 reasons. Toronto has money, and they just signed Guerrero. What was it, 8-year deal, 450 million? You're going to have two guys that are going to be with that team for the next 8 years. They're signed. They're young. They're talented. People forget, before Bichette went on the DL, he was number 1 or number 2 in hitting and RBIs. The guy's that good. And now you got Guerrero. You got youth. Sort of like if we were to have like 2 Eldridges that actually have already shown themselves. Those guys now have 2 guys. Now, if you don't want to play for the Dodgers, why not play for Toronto, where you already have 2 studs that are going to be for the next 5-6 years? Someone like Tucker. I could see him going there. Hey, now you have 3, and you're that much closer. And you're away from the Dodgers. You don't have to worry about them until you make the dance. So I just wanted to
I didn't think I'd ever agree with this guy, but he's right on the money. Insane. Who usually makes insane takes. He says it's just like when they signed Vitello, Eric. Half it was flip the coin on him, and it still is. Half the people love him. Half the people think this is the biggest mistake in Giants franchise history. So we don't know. We don't know. And we don't know what's going to unfold over there. It's just fun to talk about it. We don't know. We don't know.
Just talking about it. Opinions, man.
Until we have a Friday night show when I'm at the Model Railroad Society and Eric's going, oh, shit.
That may happen. I got a feeling something like that's going to be coming, as Lou said, in the next 2 weeks or so. I got a feeling something's going to come down. What is it going to be?
Stand by my comment. Get it done. Get it done the week before, and then fill out your roster, make some trades. Get the guy you want beforehand. Gives you some leverage.
Okay, let's do this before we get the hell out of here.
How's the poll looking? Don't forget the poll.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let's look at the poll. Who would you rather have? 60 votes. 43% say
60 votes? You only need one manager, Eric. Come on.
Yeah. Stephen Kwan, 43%. Kyle Tucker, 57%.
Really?
Yep. People want Kyle Tucker, man.
I think that's another one that could go 50-50. Could have been the other way.
How about this? Rose, hey, it'll come. It'll come. Trust me. When it's announced, it will come. There's no doubt about it. Okay. What do you think is the big move that the Giants do? What is the big move? Lou, what is the big move that the Giants make this offseason? The biggest move they make this offseason?
The anticipation's killing me, I'm telling you.
Oh.
Giants trade Eldridge and 2 farm guys to Minnesota and pick up their 3 players.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's big. Holy my God.
The big 3 we talked about last week.
Wow. You're going to say Ryan? You're going to say Ryan, Lopez, and Buxton? Oh, that's huge.
And then they're going to say, my God, did you guys see what Buster did now?
Oh, my God.
That's because he's invested all that money in those front row seats, Eric. He's got to have something to cheer for next year. I think we need a pitcher. We need a pitcher. Whether that'll happen, you gotta get a pitcher. But Lou, I'm on the other side of the coin. I think our big offseason move, we signed Gleyber Torres as second baseman, and that's it.
No. He accepted his qualifying offer.
Oh, he's off the board. Well, then I guess we're not doing anything.
No big move. Okay. Glenn says no big move.
Pitcher. It's going to be a pitcher. We sign a free agent pitcher. That's going to be the move.
That's going to be the move. And it's funny because I don't have the player who's going to be traded, but I thought the same thing, Lou. I think the big move, and again,
Eric, are you okay? You almost fell out of that seat. It almost blew you away.
Dude, that was incredible, man. I did not see that one coming. I think they trade Eldridge, right, as a big move, whether or not it happens. But I'm going to say the big move is all of a sudden we're going to freaking wake up one time. Well, maybe it'll happen in the middle of the day, and they're going to say Bryce Eldridge has been traded for, I don't know. We'll see. But what I mean by big is that the Giants actually moved off of Eldridge. That would, to be honest with you, that would be huge. Huge.
Hey, Eric, wow.
You want answers? You can't handle the truth.
Truth is, he's going to stay on a roster. I just think they've got too much of a future with him.
If he stays on a roster, I got a feeling he starts off in AAA. What do you think? You think he starts off in a big club?
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What do you think?
He plays next year.
Where is he going to play? First base DH? All right, maybe. I think he starts off in AAA. I think because look, when he was up and it was a short amount of time, it's 3 weeks worth of baseball. Struck out quite a bit, right?
Wednesday night, we could talk a whole show about where he goes, who we could get for him, because don't forget, Eric, we started the show by talking about we got holes to fill here.
Yeah.
Who's playing right? Again, opening day next year. Opening day.
Yeah.
Now batting and playing right field, Drew Gilbert. I'll be like, come on. I'll be screaming from the third deck, Eric. You'll hear me.
The Yankees.
And I'll wave at Lou. I'll wave at Lou because it's going to be like I only see him there opening day. I don't see him for another
Yankees will be very worried about coming to play the Giants. Drew Gilbert and right.
Drew Gilbert.
Our next show will be Wednesday. It's going to be Thanksgiving Eve, so maybe we'll do something fun.
And we haven't even talked about it. Oh God, what about that big offseason move that is going to happen, Eric? What about Scherzer coming to town? Not Santa Claus is coming to town. Matt Scherzer.
Get out of here.
Oh,
Get out of here.
God help us.
All right, let's get the heck out of here. Lou, thanks for popping in again, man.
Do you guys possibly think that when all is said and done, we're going to be the same freaking ball club or the same caliber as next year?
No.
We can't be.
It's going to be different. 100% going to be different.
Buster went up and said he's got to give a competitive team to the fans. When he said that, if he does nothing, then he's going to be just like Farhan. No one's going to believe him anymore.
Yeah, correct.
Like why?
Well, you're going to lose.
You talk a good game, but you haven't done.
Weimer hasn't led me down the.
That's not the big move. That's just
a manager who loves his guys. So I'm telling you, Drew Gilbert's going to be out there in right field next year.
Well, I tell you what, though, think about it. We all thought Mark Hallberg was going to be the future of the management, and he left. He's gone. So maybe they're not as what do you want to say? Loyal. That's a wrong word to use, I guess. They're okay with letting certain people go. Or not, maybe playing. We'll have to see.
I got to trade in the construction helmet. I need one of the miners one. I need the lamp on the front.
A lamp. There you go.
In the dark on what's going to happen this offseason.
Good one.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. What you got, Luke? Final thoughts?
No. I was going to say maybe that was why it took 3 days to get the signing of Tony done. Hey, listen. If I'm going to sign here, I need Mr. Gilbert in right field to start the season. I don't care what happens after opening day, but I need him. He
talks highly about him.
Oh yeah,
what a way to finish the show talking about Drew freaking Gilbert. Let's get the hell out of here. I'm done. I'm not finishing the show on Drew Gilbert. Let's get the hell out of here. See you guys Wednesday. Oh. Woo!
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.